So, welcome to this meeting of the Board of Education in Anne Arundel County. This meeting is being televised live on AACPS TV and streamed on AACPS's YouTube channel. General information and protocols for the meeting are posted on the sign by the doorway as you enter the room. So please make sure you read those if you have not already done so. And now for our invocation. O God, we pray to administer that which is just in all educational policies, being ever mindful of your guidance. Stir us to action with love, wisdom, and understanding. And now for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, and now moving on to item 2.03, approval of the minutes. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We have consensus? And we do. So moving on to item 2.04, to establish the agenda order, we have a motion.
Motion to establish the agenda order as written.
Second.
Okay, consensus? Okay, so we have a motion and consensus. So we'll be moving on at this point in time to public comments. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we do not have testimony this evening on agenda items. However, we do have three individuals who wanted to make some comments on non-agenda items. Normally, we would do that toward the end of our meeting. But this evening, we have decided, particularly one of the individuals, I believe is a student, we have decided that we're going to have that public testimony at this time. And so I'd like to call the three individuals who have signed up to testify this evening: Ashley Byrne-Rice, Cheryl Johnston, and Will Andrioni. If you could all come on down. Oh, yeah. Okay, you all can come on down and have a seat, and we do have something we do have to say. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get the testimony, this is one of the opportunities that the board provides to hear the views and receive the advice of community members. The members of this board appreciate hearing from interested citizens. As appropriate, we will refer your concerns to the superintendent for follow-up by his staff. While we encourage public input on policies, programs, and practices within the purview of this board and the school system, this is not the proper forum to address specific student or employee matters or to comment on matters that do not relate to public education in Arundel County. I remind everyone that any inappropriate personnel remarks or other behavior that disrupts or interferes with the conduct of this meeting are out of order. It is not the board's general practice to engage in question and answer sessions with speakers. For the record, please give your name before speaking. Handouts should be given to the board assistant. I ask that speakers observe the 2-minute clock. A yellow light will shine when you have 30 seconds remaining, and a tone will sound when your time has expired. Please conclude your remarks when you hear the tone. If you continue after your time has expired, the microphone may be turned off. It could also be turned off if a speaker addresses specific student or employee matters or are commenting on matters not related to public education in Anne Arundel County. And so, our first speaker, Ashley Byrne-Rice.
Do I speak right here? I've never done this before. Okay, thank you. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Ashley Byrne-Rice. I am a parent of a fourth grader at Jones Elementary, and I'm here today to address the overcrowding in the fourth grade classrooms that is having a serious impact on the students' performance in education. Our fourth grade classrooms are overcrowded with our class sizes that increased from last year at 26 students to now at 31 students. Teachers have been forced to modify modified assignments because they simply cannot wait for all students to finish. Some teachers have expressed frustration, noting that they can't get through all the material because of the larger class sizes and student needs. This is overall affecting the quality of instruction and the learning experience for all of our students. Over 20 parents from Jones Elementary have reached out to the Board of Education district member, Ms. Shalham, our regional superintendent, Mr. Goodman, and our superintendent, Dr. Bedell. We had not received a meaningful response. The generic reply we received from our principal cited the state funding models, and they do not address the specific challenges we are facing at Jones Elementary. I want to take a moment to commend the dedicated teachers at Jones Elementary. Despite the overwhelming challenges they faced, they continue to work tirelessly to support our students, often going above and beyond to make sure that the child's needs are met. However, even the best efforts of our teachers cannot make up for the limitations of overcrowded class size rooms. I'm asking the Board of Education to prioritize additional resources to the fourth grade classrooms at Jones Elementary, or to try to reduce the class sizes to ensure each student receives the attention that they deserve. Thank you for your attention in this effort, and the teachers and parents of Jones Elementary have done everything we can, but with the board's support to ensure that our fourth graders have the resources that they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheryl Johnston.
We'll stand if you don't mind.
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Cheryl Johnston. I'm a mother of a senior and a freshman at Severna Park High School. I'm here to reopen the discussion of the systematic removal of students in a special education program from the general education environment, particularly into community skills courses at a young age without parental consent. The removal is being recommended by county officials who have limited interaction with the students, made with limited IEP data, made with zero to minimal conversation with parents, and taking the student outside of the general education environment for over 80% of the school hours. For most of those students in general ed, IEP and general meeting discussions are spent not on education and learning tools, but on placement and how a student should not be in the general education classroom. Those discussions start in kindergarten, go to 3rd grade, 5th grade, and if you make it that far, then continue on for every single year of a student's academic life, often multiple times within the academic year. The purpose of a school, is to educate. And while that education looks different for every student and family, no student should be given the impression that they can no longer learn and must be segregated. Assumption of competence should prevail. For example, you have a student labeled with a severe intellectual disability who is a published author in an academic journal, but can no longer be accommodated in the general education classroom in Anne Arundel County Public Schools. There's been a long-standing disconnect in the county when it comes in special education, fighting to be included in the general education environment. LRE seems to be just a term with no real meaning. It's time that we really pay attention to this issue and have a real discussion. Thank you for your time. And I would like to present this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude our testimony this evening. So we're going to be moving on to item 4.01, our CRASC report.
Good evening, President Silkworth, Vice President Dent, members of the board, and Dr. Burdell. My name is Jason Semenoff Jr. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a proud freshman at Chesapeake High School, and I'm so honored to be serving as the CRASC Secretary of Education. The Maryland Association of Student Councils is hosting its Winter Leadership Conference on Saturday, January 25th at Walter Johnson High School in Montgomery County. CRASC is excited to welcome 10 workshop presenters, 61 voting delegates, and 11 dedicated SGA advisors. This event will also feature the selection of the 2 finalists for the state student member on the Board of Education. We are especially thrilled to have our amazing civic education coordinator, Will Andrioni, as one of the 5 candidates running for state SMOB. In addition to the election festivities, attendees will have the opportunity to review and update MASC's platform, participate in workshops, and learn about youth-related bills being introduced in the Maryland General Assembly this session. The SGAs and Pledge Clubs of AACPS are excited to once again support Special Olympics Maryland. This year, AACPS has a dedicated Plunge Day on Thursday, January 30th. Currently, the top 5 fundraising teams are Arundel High School, Old Mill High School, Crofton High School, Arundel Middle School, and Glen Burnie High School. And with a total of $123,091 raised. To donate to a plunger or team, visit plungemd.com. The CRASC executive team has been hard at work preparing for the upcoming General Assembly on February 13th at the Chesapeake Arts Center, which will focus on advocacy. At this event, students will have the opportunity to hear from a guest speaker, participate in student-led workshops, review proposed revisions to the CRASC Constitution, and connect with student leaders from other middle and high schools across the county. Students interested in attending can obtain information and permission slips from their SGA advisors. Stay tuned on the CRASC Instagram for more details on the event theme. This slide shows the schedule for upcoming CRASC events as we wrap up January and head into February. We'll be hosting a SMOB Info Night on February 5th. Juniors interested in running for AACPS SMOB are encouraged to attend. We wish students and faculty an exciting start into the new semester as we enter the second half of the school year strong. I hope everyone has an amazing second semester. That's all for me. See you next month.
Thank you so much. Moving on to item 4.02, our PTA report.
Good evening, Dr. Bedell, President Silkworth, Vice President Dent, all members of the Board of Education, and guests. My name is Michael Vasquez. My pronouns are they, them. I'm President of the Anne Arundel County Council of PTAs. I want to start by saying that our judging for our AACC PTA Reflections competition has concluded. We had over 50 entries, and the winners will be announced on February 3rd. All participating PTAs should collect the artwork entries in preparation for the exhibit at the Board of Education. Details about dropping off artwork for the Board of Education exhibition and invitations to the award ceremony will be sent by email. The Reflections Award ceremony will take place March 19th at the Board of Education. At our monthly meeting on January 13th, AACP PTA members discussed forming a committee to plan our annual Founders Day celebration, which has not been held since before COVID, and we're trying to get it going again, and forming an election committee for our spring elections in which all officer positions will be open. The next AACC PTA meeting will be held virtually on Monday, February 10th, starting at 5:30 p.m. Please email info@aaccpta.org for the link to register for AACC PTA meetings for the 24-25 school year. To all schools in the district, please let us know how we can support or start your school's PTA by contacting us at the email address info@aaccpta.org or our website aaccpta.org. As a member of the PTA, with discussions that we've had with teachers, students, parents, the AACC PTA is encouraging the board to expand the financial year 2026 operating and capital budgets before submitting to the county executive to show that all AACPS educators and staff deserve an income commensurate with their experience and with the care that they take of our students as they work to continue improving Anne Arundel County Public Schools. In closing with tonight's comments, I would like to quote the words of civil rights leader Cesar Chavez. We need to help students and parents cherish and preserve the ethnic and cultural diversity that nourishes and strengthens this community and this nation. I wish to acknowledge that the AACC PTA stands together with Free State PTA's statement that reads, "Let me be clear, Free State PTA does not support any executive order or action that results in the separation of children from their families. Such measures run counter to our mission to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children. We stand united in our belief that children deserve stability, love, and security, foundational elements that a family provides. Separation is not only harmful to children's emotional and physical well-being, but it also violates their basic human rights. As an organization, we will continue to advocate tirelessly for policies that protect and uplift every child, regardless of their background or circumstances. We encourage all members of the community and the board to join us in this effort by speaking out, supporting impacted families, and working to create communities where all children can thrive. According to the AACPS Equity Committee website, All Means All is a vision to combat against hate and bias, but also amplify the positive initiatives coming out of AACPS offices. All Means All is a guiding principle of the Anne Arundel County Public Schools strategic plan. On a personal note, as a former educator in Texas, I have firsthand experience of the emotional and psychological damage that such raids create on students, schools, families, teachers, and the communities in which they happen. It's a horrible thing, and I would not ever want anybody to experience that again. I ask that you please stand with us to show all students and families that they are safe and welcome here at AACPS. Thank you for your time.
Moving on to item 4.03, our CAC report. Okay, I see that we do not have a CAC report this evening. So item 4.04, policy committee report.
There's nothing to report because we did the report last meeting because of the weird way the meetings happen. Thanks.
Okay. Item 4.05, Budget Committee Report.
Thank you, Mr. President. The newly constituted Budget Committee met yesterday, the 21st, and was able to get a review from Mr. Stansky about some of the upcoming issues that were then discussed at the budget workshop last night. Our next Budget Committee meeting will occur on Tuesday, February 18th at noon. And as always, members of the public can dial in if they wish to listen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Tobin. So moving on to item 4.06, the President's Report. I do have a few things to report this evening. On January the 15th, we had the honor to attend the annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Awards dinner. On behalf of our entire Board of Education, I want to offer congratulations to Dr. Bedell for receiving the We Share the Dream Award. The dinner commemorates the legacy of Dr. King and honors those whose contributions reflect Dr. King's ideals of equality, service, and justice. Dr. Bedell, congratulations. So since our last meeting, I have a few other things. It's been a little busy. We have held 2 public hearings on the budget. One was held at Severn Run High School, and the other was held here in the boardroom. And we would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for their advocacy. This board is listening a lot. Last evening, we had a budget workshop, was held here in the boardroom. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Dr. Bedell, Matt Stansky, and the amazing staff who participated and helped provide such an outstanding presentation when it comes to our budget. We thank you as well for answering the many questions that we asked you last night and also responding to the many questions that you got ahead of time. So it was a great event last night. On January the 13th, I attended a meeting of our ACES to High Steps to Success work group. I would like to thank Monique Jackson and Mr. Dickerson for their help and their support with this group. We're looking forward to some great collaboration to help make a difference for many of our students who struggle to succeed in school and in the classroom. On January the 6th, our annual legislative breakfast was scheduled, but had to be canceled due to the weather. That was sad. On January 13th, Dr. Bedell and I recorded our legislative breakfast presentation, which I believe has been sent to everyone. And we look forward to continue our collaboration with all of our political friends and stakeholders during the current session. On January the 15th, Dr. Tobin, Michelle Heim, and I believe we were the 3 that attended the annual AVID Student Leadership Conference at Anne Arundel Community College. I have to tell you, it's always a great event, but it was a wonderful event this year. The highlight for me, and I think my colleagues would agree, was the keynote speech. It was a keynote delivered by Michelle Fidel. Michelle, wherever you are, I know you're not here tonight, but that was an inspirational speech and it was a motivational speech. It was a very professional speech. It was superb. So thank you, Michelle. Finally, on Saturday the 18th, Ms. Pullum, I believe, and I'm not sure if Ms. Dent was able to be there, but we attended the 3rd annual Mo Gaba Memorial Robotics Tournament, where I had the opportunity to have my picture taken with the Oriole bird. Not everybody gets to meet the Oriole bird. But I also had the opportunity to watch some of the robotics competition. I believe there were over 50 schools represented from around the state. And I'd like to congratulate Mr. Rick Hall for his great work with robotics at Lindale Middle School. And folks, I have to say this. I don't know how many of you have seen the competitions in robotics. I had the opportunity to watch many of the students and the groups participate. One of their challenges was they had a little robot that they created, and they had to pick up these two round balls about the size of your fist, and they had to maneuver them to one area, and they had to throw the ball to go through the hoop into the hole. And there were two holes, one here and there, one there. I watched so many teams, many of the teams kind of struggled with getting the ball, first of all. But many of the teams got the ball, and then they went to try to throw the ball, and they maybe got one of them in. They got a few. But then along comes the Lynx of Lindale. They went and picked up the two balls, and the robot was maneuvered over, and in one move, boom, both balls went in the hole. I thought when I first saw that, that was amazing. They went back and did it 2 more times in a row. All 6 attempts, nothing but net, Dr. Bedell. So once again, Mr. Hall is doing a fantastic job at Lindale with the robotics program. And I see Dr. Tobin, your light's on?
I just wanted to mention that Ms. Dent was with us at the Avid conference.
Oh, okay, yes. Thank you, Ms. Dent. Okay, so that does conclude the president's report. So moving on to item 4.07, superintendent's report. Dr. Bedell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to start off by congratulating the 125 AACPS educators who achieved their prestigious national board certification for the first time, and 41 others who successfully maintained their certifications. AACPS's 2024-2025 class is one of our largest ever, and it is nearly 8% larger than the 2023-2024 class. Congratulations to all of these outstanding educators. That is a huge accomplishment. And for those watching or listening who want to join these educators and the rest of our amazing team, here's your chance. The Division of Human Resources is holding its winter job fair tomorrow from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at North County High School. Candidates will be able to speak to HR representatives right at the job fair about the pathway that interests them. Get all the information you need at www.aacps.org/join our team. And it is here also on the screen. More congratulations are in order. This time for 13 amazing AACPS dancers who earned all state honors and 3 others who earned honorable mention. AACPS dancers make up half of the all-state dancers in the state of Maryland. Special kudos to Crofton High School's Sasha Fowley, who earned the inaugural Excellence in Student Choreography Award. Congratulations. More new news. We had about 800 paraeducators to sign up for our school district's first ever paraeducator symposium on Tuesday, titled Empowering Paraeducators for Student Independence. The virtual event was organized by the Division of Specialized Instruction and Early Intervention Services. It provided our team members with sessions on a variety of topics, including enhancing inclusive learning environments for all students, promoting access and engagement, and breaking down barriers for students. Thanks to everyone who helped to put this valuable symposium on. This is just another edition of what we're doing to ensure that we are focusing on improving on our special education continuum and services in this school district. On the next slide, you will see the bi-weekly update that we provide, or a weekly update that we provide on our vacancy rates. As you can see, 66 teacher vacancies compared to 118 at this time. We're actually making a dent in food service workers. A few months ago, that was sitting at about 118. And so, as you can see, we have our job fair scheduled for tomorrow. I mean, the goal is to constantly try to get to zeros. We like the zeros we see with nurses, the bus drivers, and alternative vehicle drivers. But as you can see, we still have some work to do, and we will continue to pursue that. Finally, I want to say a few words and remind everyone about our Lift LA campaign. Today was the first day that students could take donations to their schools. But as our schools opened this morning, we had already collected more than $7,200 for the campaign. All of the funds we collect will go to the LA Unified School District Education Foundation so that it can directly help students there. Now, I know there have been some comments about why didn't we do a campaign after disasters in North Carolina and some other places. I need everybody to know that this is not about a lack of caring for people in those areas. It's just not. Given the sheer size and scope of the disaster in Los Angeles, we saw this as an opportunity on several levels. First and foremost, to help hundreds of thousands of students in some small way. LA Unified is the second largest school district in the country. It has about 550,000 students, and 85% of those students qualify for free and reduced price meals. Thousands of those students have lost their homes, and some have lost family members. Several LAUSD schools have burned down. The district is struggling. Second, to create a campaign in which a single school district could help another single school district. That's why the donations are going from our Ed Foundation directly to theirs. As I said in the announcement of this campaign, I would hope that if we were ever in such a situation, that some of the 11,000 school districts across the nation would help us. And third, to create connections between our students and students across the country, even if these are students we will never meet. It is important to note that we do have several LA Unified graduates working as employees, LA Unified graduates serving on this school board. So ultimately, their success results in our opportunities here in Anne Arundel County. It is important to me that everybody understands that we're not trying to slight anybody here. No organization or individual can help everyone in every case, but this is not about making one more important than the other. I am aware that other community groups, especially in our southern part of our county, have jumped in to assist the North Carolina effort, and that some of our school system employees have also been involved in this as well. I applaud all of them for their efforts to raise money and deliver supplies in North Carolina and elsewhere. Again, I simply saw this as a way that one district and its students could help another district and its students. And it's important to remind everybody, we did this with Hurricane Harvey years ago in Houston, in the state of Texas. And this county stepped up to help support those. So I thank everybody for what you're doing as we continue to support school districts that run into issues across this country. And when we have an opportunity, we will. Mr. President, that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Bedell. And so moving on now to our consent items, awarded contracts. Do I hear a motion to bundle?
I motion to bundle consent items 5.01, 5.02, and 5.03.
Second.
Okay, do we have consensus? And we do. Dr. Bedell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The superintendent recommends that the Board of Education authorize the award of contracts under consent item numbered 5.01 through 5.03.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Howe?
Ms. Schulheim?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Ms. Hamdowie?
Aye.
Ms. Dent?
Aye.
Dr. Tobin?
Aye.
Ms. McDermott?
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam,
Aye.
Mr. Silkworth.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Okay, moving on to item 6.01, administrative personnel appointments.
We have none for this board meeting.
Okay, so we'll be moving on to our policy revisions on third reading, item 6.02, employee travel, code GAEE.
Thank you, Mr. President. Grace Wilson will come up as this is the third reading for this policy. The superintendent recommends approval of policy GAEE, subject to final correction for style and format. Pass it over to Grace Wilson.
Thank you, Dr. Bedell. Good evening, President Silkworth, Vice President Dent, members of the board, and Dr. Bedell. For the record, I'm Grace Wilson, Senior Legislative and Policy Specialist. Policy GAEE, employee travel, is before you on third reading for final adoption this evening. As a reminder, the revisions proposed to this policy are minor and include updating the responsible office titles and updating the policy to reflect current drafting style. Staff have also proposed revisions to the accompanying regulation, GAEERA, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding this policy.
Okay, I'm seeing no questions. Do we have a motion?
Sure, move to adopt the policy as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Howe?
Ms. Schulheim,
Aye.
Ms. McFarland,
Aye.
Ms. Hamdawi,
Aye.
Ms. Dent,
Aye.
Dr. Tobin,
Aye.
Ms. McDermott,
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam,
Aye.
Mr. Silkworth.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Okay, item 6.03, this is first reading, item 6.03, reporting child abuse and neglect, code JEF.
Thank you, President Silkworth. Policy JEF, reporting child abuse and neglect, is on first reading before being posted for a 30-day public comment period. The policy and their accompanying regulation were requested for review by staff in order to incorporate revisions to state law. Upon review, staff has recommended technical edits and edits for style and formatting only to the policy. Additionally, staff have proposed revisions to the accompanying regulation JEFRA in accordance with state law, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding this policy.
Okay, seeing none. So thank you. We'll move on to item 6.04, items of legislation.
Thank you, President Silkworth. We are now 2 weeks into the 2025 Maryland General Assembly session. As of this morning, there had been a little over 1,000 bills introduced. A number of those are in the legislative exhibit before you. As a reminder, the bills in the first section are bills on which the board is requested to take a formal position. This evening, I'm asking the board to adopt a position on House Bill 402 and Senate Bill 307, which have to do with increasing the scholarship for our student member of the board. The bills in the second section contain bills for the board's information, and the bills in the third section align with the position adopted in the board's 2025 legislative program, and I'd be happy to take any questions you have.
I'm seeing no questions. So you need a motion from us. We do have one now. Ms. Schulheim.
It's not a question, but just more of a comment. First, thank you as always for the legislative packet you put together for every board meeting this session. I know it takes some work, so thank you to you and your team for that. So we're on the question of the one that we're voting on. So I don't have a question regarding it, but I did want to say that I applaud this effort personally. I was curious as to why the student wasn't brought along with the rest of us during the last time compensation for any of us was addressed. It felt like an oversight then. I'm glad that that there's work to try to correct that. And so I just applaud Delegate Pruski and Senator Simonaire for their efforts in this regard.
Okay, so I think we're looking for a motion.
Move to
Support.
support. Thank you. Thank you. The word. Yeah. This particular set of bills. Thank you.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Howe.
Yes, Ms. Shawhine moved to support House Bill 0402 and Senate Bill 0307. Ms. Shawhine.
Aye.
Ms. McFarland.
Aye.
Ms. Hamdowie.
Aye.
Ms. Dent.
Aye.
Dr. Tobin.
Aye.
Ms. McDermott.
Aye.
And Ms. Pulliam.
Aye.
And Mr. Silkworth.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Okay, we're moving on to items 7, review items 7.01, 02, and 03. Are there any concerns? Okay. Seeing none, we do not have any public comments on non-agenda items. We took care of that earlier. And before I ask for a motion, I'd like to remind everyone that the next meeting of the Board of Ed will be Wednesday, February the 5th. It'll be at 12 p.m. Start here in the boardroom. The Policy Committee meets on Tuesday, February the 4th, 3 p.m. virtual. Budget, February 18th. That's a Tuesday, 12 p.m. virtual. And Equity is Tuesday, February 25th, at 12 p.m. virtual meeting. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Consensus? Okay. Good night, everyone.